Guys, today on the channel, a backyard ripper on 2S under 250 grams. Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is not an advertisement. This is an actual experience and my thoughts on the brand new HGLRC Draknight. I did get this for free, but I'm not here to advertise it to you. I'm here to give you a good idea of what it's all about, how it flies, the tune on here out of the box, and what you get in the box, the price, and all that good stuff today. It does look strikingly similar to the YMZ, I believe it was YMZ Lighting One as they called it. And this one just has a little better features, which we're going to talk about, kind of compare, because hey, it looks kind of like a carbon copy of the Lighting One. Maybe it's the same factory, maybe it's the same print, but it is a little bit shorter as far as the center long body goes. The upper cage is a little different. They also have an included camera mount, which is kind of cool. It's TPU camera mount. This comes off and you can put that camera mount up top. It also has TBS Crossfire Nano on the top, as well as my dipole coming out the back, and a brand new Immortal T miniature antenna on the back, LEDs, and a little tiny beeper here. And it's running on an XT30, so it's going to be super zippy out there on 2S. And I gotta tell you, this is probably the most fun you can have on 2S in the micro brushless kingdom. So let's go ahead and get started now, flying this little 2-inch ripper in the backyard and around the house. I'll show you what it's all about. After that, I'll come back. I'll give you my unbiased opinion on the Draknight. my excitement is huge on this after that flight test. That was so much fun. This little quad on the scale without a battery, the 2S450, it's 49 grams exactly. It has the TPU mount on the bottom as well for the battery. I'm just going to go ahead and slide it through, and we'll put it back on the scale and see what we get. It still should be well under 100 grams, 78 grams on the dot. Now today's flight time was the 2S450 battery, and I was getting a little over, just over 3 minutes if I would slow down in the backyard. But the throttle is so much fun on this quad that I found myself just ripping insane throttle boost and just wanting to go nuclear in the backyard. It was just too much fun. I suggest and recommend that you guys use the 2S Tattoo 2S 450 milliamp battery. If you're just cruising on this battery and it's brand new, you're likely to get maybe like 3 to 3.5 minutes. If you're really truly ripping, you can rip one of these down to like 6.5 volts around probably 1.5 minutes. It just depends on how you fly and how hard you are on the throttle. This quad hauls ass. And now let's go ahead and get into it. You're not seeing double here. You're actually seeing the Draknight 2 from HGLRC on your right. On your left, you're seeing the YMZ Lighting 1, and they are so strikingly similar. They have the same black kind of aircraft aluminum top plate here. They have a similar unibody. They're not exactly the same here, but we do have a carbon unibody here with reinforced struts and a little bit shorter from front to back. And what that does is it makes it a little more snappy in the turns. On this Squash X, I can feel the difference in the turns. This one's maybe a little more flowy for big, say larger than a baseball field size flying spots. And it does have quite a bit of room underneath this one. This one seems like it has a little less space. They also have a capacitor in here. They have my nano on top and my dipole here, whereas this one has the dipole kind of mounted just straight up through what looks like a metal type of mount, which is very different. This one's TPU. It's going to have some give to it, probably going to be a little bit stronger in the long run, as well as an Immortal T in the back here for my TBS Crossfire. It has a TPU mount, and this one has a built-in buzzer in the very back of this and LEDs, which is kind of sweet. Up front, they also have camera options for this one. You can take this piece off. This little vent here will come off, and you can put a micro size cam mount on here, which is kind of cool. This one does not have any type of camera mount option available at all. The Lighting 1 is just stuck the way it is. It has a little bit of a tilt there. You might be able to kind of figure out how to strap something on there, but you're likely to lose your camera because it could fly off. Also on the website, I noticed that this particular fin right here, this same fin is on the HGLRC website, right on the Draknight page. The first picture of this little guy, it shows this little spoiler on the back. So that's interesting to me. It's not on this version, and I can't seem to find the ceramic tower for the ELRS. So maybe they have two different versions of the flight controller. The TBS version of the flight controller, which is going to get you upwards around $150 to $160, and the ELRS version with the ceramic tower, it's an SPI receiver on there. That one's going to be around $115, but it is shorter from front to back. And again, over the long run, this one may be less durable because there's no reinforced struts here. It's more of a true toothpick style design, whereas this one's more of a squashed X racing style frame with extra struts and things in here. It has a shorter front mount from the camera to the main body. And one thing I like about the Lighting 1 a little bit better is the cable is a little bit shorter here. This one hangs off the back on the Draknight 2, and it's a little bit longer, and that can get you in trouble if it flies up into the prop. So I always twist these up a lot, as well as the 2S battery that I'm going to fly. Whatever 2S battery I'm going to fly, I'm going to twist that up a lot so it doesn't end up in the props. You kind of mount it so that the cables come away from the quad instead of going up and into the props. But they also used both F411s on here, replaceable motors. It's mounted with M2 hardware, and it's an STM32 F411 flight controller with 12 amp ESCs on here. And the power system is exactly the same. They're running the 1003 10,000 kV motors on this little guy. I mean, they're almost identical except for the color of these motors. So yeah, I would say that maybe somehow I have no idea what's going on here, but these are nice. They're HGLRC branded, so I'm assuming that HGLRC has their own design here, and this is just kind of an offshoot. But these are the RC and power motors on the lighting one, and I kind of like the pink, but who cares? This one flies great, and it's so strange that these designs are just floating around China like they are. But it was short, it was snappy, quick turns, and amazing power if you want to do power loops and things like that. I think that's pretty cool. So what's also different is the fact that with this one comes with a whole bunch of extras. We have this TPU mount, extra large, maybe a little bit of like a maybe 550 size battery would fit in this one. And then you also get this cool camera mount. And that's an incentive for people who want to be able to fly like a decased GoPro on theirs. That's pretty cool. And the little kind of post is already in there with the lock nut. It's M2 hardware on that. So that can mount right to the top. It has 4 holes in the bottom, as you can see. You're just gonna pull off these 2 bolts in the front, and then you're good to go. And also in the box, I have actually a little spoiler back here. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the HGLRC website. It's this little spoiler. It's not metal, it's made of TPU. So if you didn't have this antenna on here, you could pull this off and you could put this on there. So that just pops into the frame. And actually, no, it goes through this back. There's a strut that goes through right here. So there's a hole straight through there, and bam, you can mount it on there and you won't lose it. So that's cool, but it will not fit in the box for storage. You'll have to take the props off there. So that's one drawback about that. I wish these companies would design cases for us, especially for these small micros. When you put it away, it would be nice not to have to take the props off, and when you fly it again, figure out how these props go back on there. So it's just cool to see that this version came out, because I do like HGLRC. They've had some pretty cool stuff coming out, and I almost wonder if this was like a Dave C design, if he had his hands on this toothpick or not. But yeah, I'm seeing it showing up otherwhere. So Dave C, do you have another company out there we don't know about? Is it called YMZ? Who freaking knows? But it is cool, and I had a lot of fun flying it. I just wish there was a few things different about it. Maybe the cable in the back for the XT30 was a little shorter, but that's not a big deal. I can do that myself. I can snip it off and shorten that just to come out the back. But if you get one, that's what I'll suggest doing. Other than that, have fun with it, because the props are pretty durable. I bent them a bunch of times, and you can see this one's bent up a little bit, and I just bend them back and keep flying. And I saw a little bit of waggle at one point at high throttle, some oscillations, and that was because I had a bent prop, not because it had a bad tune. So the tune on here is super good, and it's an absolute ripper outside. If you get this one, you will love it. And I'm surprised that the other guy who said he was going to get this one, I believe it was Midnight Aerials. If you still want this quad, you got to hit me up, because I'm still holding it for you, bro. Come get it if you want it. I can't fly them all, so contact me if you need a quad, or use my link down below to grab one of these. It always benefits the channel, and I would appreciate it, because hey, I am an FPV pilot like all of you guys, and I make reviews, not advertisements. So yeah, I'm gonna keep making honest reviews on the channel and give you the best of me in all my reviews. And by the way, it's my birthday today, so that also kind of shows you how much I love FPV. I'm sitting here on my birthday making a review. So but I plan on going out to eat tonight, or maybe having a night in with Mrs. Camp. So that's going to be a lot of fun here. So yeah, it's my birthday, and you guys take care, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.